Good morning, students. Welcome to class 7th Social Science video part 1. I hope, students, you all are safe, healthy, and fit at home. Students, today our subject is history. Our topic is the medieval period, that is worksheet 1. Here you can see a picture of the medieval India. Today we are going to discuss the first point in this chapter, that is the medieval period. What do we understand, students, by the medieval period? The word medieval, this term has been derived from a Latin word which means time in the middle. The time in the middle means in between the ancient and modern period. Ancient period that we have already studied, student, last year in standard 6th, that was previous class. The period of medieval covers from 8th to the 18th century. Here you can see a picture of a medieval war. At the period at that time, it is the war of the Delhi Sultanate. This period of medieval has been divided into two parts, the early medieval period and the later medieval period. The early medieval period is from 8th to the 13th century and the later medieval period is between the 13th to the 18th century. Here is a picture of the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughals, which we are going to study in a further chapter. Students, when we are talking about the major political developments, the history of the early medieval period is centered on power struggles among regional kingdoms of both North and South India. When we are talking about the most prominent among these kingdoms of the north is the Rajput kingdoms. Here you can see a picture of the Rajput kingdoms. And here is an India map in red color spotted highlighted is the kingdoms of the Rajputs at that period. When we are talking about the southern India, we are talking about the most prominent kingdoms of the Chola. And here is a spot of red highlighted of the Chola kingdom and a picture of the Chola Empire. In the later medieval period, invasions by Muslim conquerors from Central Asia had been. The invaders were Turks, Afghans, and the Mughals. This period saw the rise of some powerful Muslim dynasty like the Khaljis, the Tughlaqs, and the Mughals. Here you can see a picture of the Turks, the Afghans, and the Mughals. At that period, students, a great famous Central Asian scholar had been to India. His name was Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni, he was mastered in Sanskrit language and translated some Sanskrit text into Arabic. He also wrote a book known as Kitab al-Hind. At that period, students, new social and political groups emerged in India. Through the various historical periods, India has been known by different names such as Aryavarta, Bharatvarsha, and Hindustan, etc. The Rajputs at that period was from Rajasthan among them, and the Sikhs, who were a religious group of Punjab. Here you can see a picture of the Sikhs from Punjab. The Jats of Haryana, who were farmers as well as warriors. Here is a picture of the Jats. The Ahoms, here is a picture of the Ahoms who conquered and ruled Assam at that period. And the great warriors were the Marathas of that period, that was from Maharashtra. Students, today we have discussed in our part 1 the time frame of medieval period, the two parts of the medieval period division, that is the early and the later medieval period, the social and political group, the medieval scholars, different name Indian historicals has said, that is Bharatvarsha and Aryavartan Hindustan. Students, I hope you're going to work out the worksheet neatly in your copy. Thank you, student. Take care. Be safe at home.